first and foremost protecting the gains. What are these gains? We believe we know where our country has come from, we know where we are, and we know where we want to go. We know the status that the NRM found Uganda in terms of peace or instability then. In terms of roads, we understand where we were. We understand where our education was. We understand the socio-economic dynamics that the country was facing at the time. And we also know that we made a manifesto in 2021 that is leading us to this. So as we consider the gains, we give the long view from since when NRM came to power, and then we look at the commitments that we made as a party in 2021 and how far we have made that. We have made good of those commitments, and then from there, that becomes our launch pad now to go to make that qualitative leap into the high middle income status. We also know that we are in the low middle income status. But first and foremost, the very, very first gain that as a party we want to protect is peace and stability, because the rest can move on. The rest can either go on or fail when there is peace. They say that development without security is impossible, and security without development is not sustainable. So that security development nexus is one of the things upon which our gains are anchored, for us to see that a country that was bedeviled by instability in many corners is now a haven of peace within the region and across all corners, from West Nile to Karamoja, which Karamoja didn't have rebels, but the fact that they were using guns, and so the disarmament that took place there has also enhanced Karamoja to a level that we no longer say that we shall not wait for Karamoja to develop. Those were the sayings then. The Rwenzori region is peaceful, and all other parts of the country. The north is supporting President Museveni massively from West Nile to Karamoja, because they have witnessed and seen the fruits of peace. So peace and stability is the first gain as a party that we must ensure that is protected. Then from there, it's the human capital element of it. And in human capital, we talk about the education. When you look at the literacy rate that was there before UPE, and even when UPE was just taking root, the literacy rate was very low. And now we are talking about a literacy rate of almost over 70%. Those are gains that we must protect. That there are many Ugandans that have been able to access education. Gone are the days when a letter would be sent in a village and they have to look for someone who did senior 4 in that village to come and read and interpret for the families. When we have products of UPE in Parliament, in different, I can only give 2 examples. Honorable Javira Semwanga of Buyamba County in Rakai is a product of UPE. When we have this young man, Subi, who went to Makerere University with a mattress in a suitcase, an iron-made suitcase, and that he's now a member, a bona fide member of the corporate world. He's a fruit, and many others. We even have an association of UPE beneficiaries. So those are gains that we must protect in terms of the quantity. But the reason we are adding in the word qualitative leap is that in terms of numbers, we have made strides, but we now want to increase the quality. How do we continuously improve our UPE program? How do we continuously improve the USE, Universal Secondary Education? And of course, we all know that when the NRM came to power, and even in the 90s, we had one university, Makerere University, and today you have over 10 universities. When many of you and I graduated, there was only one university and names would be read on radio, and it would be one day. Today it's a week for Makerere alone. It's a whole week of people, of our students, our children graduating. So those are gains that we have made, and we want to, based on that, to continuously improve on that. When you look at the health, still on the human capital element of it, when you look at the health perspective, the number, today we are talking about the youth bulge, that there are many young people, the pyramid is changing. Yes, we have many young people because many children died before the age of 5 years. And today it's no longer the case because of the mass immunization programs that the NRM has had. The issue when we were all growing up, we used to hear about measles. It's no longer an issue. When the president started the program of Kick Polio out of Uganda, I can say without fear of contradiction that as a party we have special interest groups, and one of them is the PWD. There are areas in our villages, because we elect from the village level, there are villages where we could not find 5 members who are PWD. So these are gains that we have attained over time, and they are the gains that we are looking at to make the launch pads for our qualitative leap into the higher middle income status. When you look at the issue of roads, infrastructure, just the transport infrastructure and different areas of or sectors of our transport, the roads, Uganda has opened up itself through the government program of ensuring that one can go from Kampala on tarmac up to the border with the DRC, up to the border with South Sudan, up to the border with Rwanda, up to the anywhere. And the reason we are doing that, or we have emphasized such programs, is to ensure that whatever we produce can easily be marketed outside Uganda. That is meant to provide market in the region. So from the road sector, a lot has been done. From the air sector, airline or air transport, we revamped Uganda Airlines, and for us to have the massive strides that are being achieved in the airline industry, to have the Ugandan flag in the skies is a gain that we must protect at all costs. And we just want to increase the number of destinations that we can go to. We have also opened the marine transport. If you have ferries in Kalangala, I mean, these were issues that were never there, and at one time we only had one. Now we have increased. When you go in Nakasongola on Lake Choga, you just cross from Nakasongola to Amulatal and the Lango sub-regions, and you even have marine ambulances on these water bodies. So those are strides that have been made under the NRM government, and we want to continuously improve, because we also believe, as far as infrastructure and human capital is concerned, that we may not have reached where we want to be. Like we say in our theme, that we want to make that qualitative leap. We are not where we want to be ultimately, but the truth of the matter is we are not where we were. And all countries are still grappling. In the United States, in UK, and many other countries, we saw how when everybody felt or knew that it was all done in the United States as far as the health service delivery is concerned. But we saw how the health system was brought to its knees in some of the developed countries that we all look up to. And recently, when President Trump was campaigning with Kamala Harris, they were all talking about improving the education sector, improving the health service delivery system. So just like the developed countries continuously improve, as a country, we also continuously want to improve. When we look at the social economic transformation, it's one of our pillars as a party, or core principles as a party. A number of programs have been achieved. A number of programs have been laid out and implemented in the countryside, and we want to hinge on those programs to continuously improve. Of course, we had OWC, Operation Wealth Creation, we had NADS, we had Ntandikwa, and many others. But particularly in the last term, we introduced Emyoga, we introduced PDM. Now, PDM has made also, is different in its own way, that for the first time we are having a program which does not have a lot of administrative expenses, because one of the challenges we had, for instance, with NADS, is that a lot of resources was going into the, let me, for lack of a better word, say the software issues in capacity building, and little was going into the agro inputs and other sectors. And there were structures, government structures. There is a NADS coordinator at the district. There is a NADS coordinator at the sub-county level. There is a farmers forum at that sub-county level. They are the ones to determine who will receive the implements at the lower level. But with the PDM, it's the first program where at the lowest administrative level, because other than the LOC, which is a leadership level, but the parish is the first administrative unit, where you know that there is a parish, there's a government leader there, a parish chief. So it becomes the lowest administrative unit. That is where PDM is implemented. And with the PDM, by 14th of July, we had reached 3.5 million households. Now, yeah, but they are benefiting largely through their households. For us, as we are targeting households, and 3.5 million households had received money under PDM, and we know these people by their names, by their names, by their telephone numbers, by their villages, and by their enterprise which they registered with. So that is a massive gain upon which we just want to increase. If in the first the first term of implementation, we were able to reach 3.5 million households, we are confident that once we are done with these elections, we are going to increase on those numbers. So basically, that is our manifesto. And I mean, in terms of the manifesto, those are our gains, or the theme upon which we are counting. Now, in terms of the manifesto, we want to enhance PDM, to also improve on its delivery. We have leaders at the lower levels who, by the guidelines of PDM, are supposed to be beneficiaries, but they can't also go competing with the people they lead. So in this manifesto, we said, other than the 100 million shillings meant for the people at the grassroots level, 15 million shillings will be added each year to that PDM circle, but 15 specifically for leaders. Then we have also faced a challenge where the parishes in municipalities and towns are bigger in terms of population. They are bigger than the parishes in the countryside. So we are saying, as we give 100 million for parishes in the rural communities, we are targeting 300 million shillings for parishes. A parish in Kampala, a parish in Hoima municipality, a parish in Mbale municipality are bigger than even sub-counties in the rural countryside. So we intend to increase on that. In terms of the road sector, a number of roads have been highlighted in our manifesto, starting from those that have been completed, those that are in the pipeline, those whose designs have already been made and procurement is ongoing, but also others that are just coming up, within the pipeline. But also one other thing that in the last term, we said we are going to send 1 billion shillings in each village, each district. That was done to support the land fund, but also to ensure that the road units that were sent in the districts have sufficient fuel to work on these roads, and that we have done. We just want now to ensure that if something has happened on the road, there is a prompt response. If there are potholes, we handle them promptly instead of waiting for this road to be totally impassable. And then as far as the socio-economic transformation is concerned, other than PDM, there's going to be a special fund for cultural leaders, a special fund for religious leaders, but also another fund for young people, fresh graduates. Anyone who will have spent 2 years without getting a job can be able to access funding in form of cheap and patient capital for them to start up businesses and improve. Then the other issue, of course, is manufacturing. In our manifesto, we look at the 4 sectors of the economy. One of it is manufacturing. When we increase factories and manufacturing units in the country, that means we are creating jobs. So manufacturing is an area. That's why we talk about the 22 industrial parks that must be established. We now have some which are operational, Namamve, Mbale, Kapeka, and many others, but we are going to improve to add, I think around 9 are operational, but we want to ensure that those 22 industrial parks are operational. An industrial park like Kapeka, a good thing, that's where I come from. We have over 6,000 young people working in just one industrial park. Mbale has over 3,000 young men and women that have accessed jobs. So we are improving on that. Now, the other sector is the agro-industrialization. Uganda being an agro-based country and with a climate far better than many within the region, we want to improve. In the manifesto, we talked about, yes, tractors we have given them, but we also want to provide smallholder user-friendly machines. Somebody on 2 acres or 1 acre may not need a tractor, but there are those smallholder user-friendly agro machines that we are going to incorporate, or we have incorporated in our manifesto, and will be issues that we start with in the next manifesto. The other area is the service industry, hotels and other service sectors, whether doctors, lawyers, and all that kind of stuff. We are also going to improve on the delivery systems and also ensure that a number of jobs are created within that sector. The other one is the ICT, the Internet of Things. We still want to ensure that we have business outsourcing centers in different areas, and also in our schools, especially many government schools, we have provided computers to ensure that somebody doesn't have to get out of school to begin now interfacing with the computer or any other electronic gadgets. So those are things that we have put in the manifesto and many others. I thank you so much. We understand the value of the media. If it were not for that, I was literally grabbed in office to come and attend this. That shows the value of the media, and we can't talk to ourselves if the media is not there. So we value the media is just part and parcel of our, let me call it, the political discourse. We can't speak to ourselves, and I want to thank you for the work that you are doing, even to bring us here to have this dialogue, and for the media, even when the media is crucial in ensuring that the masses get to know what's going on. It's our concern, especially for NTV and NBS, it's just biased reporting. We are not saying just report about NRM alone or the NRM presidential candidate and other candidates, but we just need that balanced reporting. There has been interactions with the NTV on a number of issues and the monitor, and then maybe they did not conform to what we feel, because we have many media houses in the country, over 300 radio stations, the television stations are over 40, but the fact that there is a sanction for these two, there have been negotiations here and there, but our point is basically biased reporting. We want, as you are fair to the others, you also be fair to the NRM. You give credit where it's due, and you also criticize, because for us it's from that criticism that we've been able to build to where we are, and to improve every now and then. But if it is deliberate unfair reporting, I think that's where the problem comes from.
You have one question?
And foremost, the PDM program was made in such a way, in fact, it's not targeting only NRM members, because NRM, there are local governments where NRM is not in leadership, where NRM is in the opposition. Actually, in Kampala here, Wakiso, and in some places in Luwero, we have concerns. Even in Kampala here, when you engage with the Kampala leaders, they will tell you that because the leaders of the local governments in Kampala are from the opposition, they will tell you that they are targeting opposition households. But for us, our position is clear, that it is for all Ugandans, regardless of political affiliation. Just like schools are being built, health services, they don't ask for a card to go to a school, a UPE school. They don't ask for a party card to access health service. But it's one area where we ensured, not actually, the NRM chairperson, for instance, is a member of the Parish Development Committee, but is not the chair. Is just there to see that things are moving on well, but it is the chairperson of the parish. Now, in areas where the chairperson of the parish is opposition, he still is the one leading that program. The others that are there are the chairpersons of the Women Council, chairpersons of the Youth Council, and the reason we put them there is because there is a percentage that is meant for women, 30% is for women, 30% is for youth. So there is nobody who understands or knows the young people and the women better than their leaders. And in some of these youth council leaders are from opposition parties, because there's a difference between the youth league and the youth council. The Youth League is specifically for NRM. They are not members of the parish development committees. The Women League are members of the party. They are not members of those committees, but the women and youth councils are the ones that sit there specifically for that. But by and large, they themselves, the members of the parish development committee, organize and call members of the village leaderships in that particular parish to create a parish circle where they themselves elect the people that will lead the parish circle, through which the monies are channeled. Because the money does not go to the parish development committee, it doesn't go through the parish chief, it goes to the parish circle, which comprises of people that were elected by the very people in the villages. And you know, it is easy to confuse people at the district, at the sub-county, but at the lower level, those people know themselves. They know, regardless of political affiliation, that this person is trustworthy, this person has what it takes to handle their monies. So basically, it's a program for all people. And as far as independence is concerned, independence is for all. And the National Organizing Committee, it's not even organized by the party. All these functions are organized by by the National Organizing Committee under the Office of Ministry for Presidents, and even as party members, we are just invited. There is no way, even the branding, a lot has changed, that we emphasize branding using the black, yellow, red, the national flag. Otherwise, you cannot compare the branding of independence tomorrow with the branding of the National Conference of NRM, which were in the same place. The branding is totally different. So we want to emphasize that. But it's also important for the opposition parties, when they receive these cards, to know that there's a difference between a government and a state. Governments come and go, but the state must remain. We have seen governments of UPC, we have seen the other governments that were there before. They will come and go, they come and go. Even the NRM, I don't know when, but in the unlikely event that it also goes, other governments will also come up. But independence is a day for all of us, regardless of our political persuasion. So it takes two to tango. For us, it feels great. Even the National Conference of NRM, which is a purely party conference, we invited members of other political parties. Members of IPOD attended the National Conference of NRM. And the NRM attend some of the meetings where they are invited. So those are, that's a day where, not that alone, but even other days, it's important that they attended. Now, democracy is one of our core principles. We not only just talk about it, but we practice it. And that is why for us, even when it comes to electing or determining flag bearers, nobody in this country has ever come to Plot 10 Chadondo Road, the party headquarters, to ask for a card. We do not give party cards at the headquarters. It is the people in the villages, in the villages, in the parishes for parish councillors, in the sub-counties for the sub-county council, in the districts and the constituencies. It's the people that determine who should lead them. So that is something that we do. Now, in terms of canvassing for votes, I think it's important for all of us. First of all parties, all candidates, including independent candidates, sat at the Independent Electoral Commission. They synchronized their programs, but with that, there are rules of engagement. There are rules of the game that must be followed by all of us. And as a party, we do follow them. If the president is if the presidential candidate for NRM is in Lila district, we set out one venue where the rally will be. There are no stopovers that, he will stop in this market, he will stop at this hospital facility or anything. So the reason is to avoid disrupting the ordinary course of business for the people. Now, one of the challenges that the Electoral Commission, I think, has is where you find somebody in the middle of the road in the market. You stage a rally, you are moving with a convoy of over 30 vehicles from Kampala and other districts. You land in Mitiana, and there is total paralysis. People cannot do their business. But I was, for instance, in Iruwero, in charge of the rally at Bukalasa. We were just clear. Business in Woblenz was moving on so well, as the president branched off to Bukalasa Agricultural College to have that rally and leave. So I think that's where, like I said, it takes two to tango. For us as a party, as a presidential candidate, we follow the rules of the game, and it's important that the other candidates do so, other than creating stopovers that cause paralysis in the middle of the road, in the middle of a business center or a market. And I think that's what we want to call upon all our colleagues to do. And the GROW project is one of the socio-economic programs that was launched. It was a COVID recovery program. There are so many COVID recovery programs, economic recovery programs that were initiated post-COVID, but this is one which was basically targeting women at different levels, and it is handled with the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, plus other entities, and particularly the private sector foundation. But it has moved on well. Initially, we had some setbacks here and there. The lower limit was high, that they were looking at people who needed 4 million shillings to 200 millions. That is for those who are going to the banks. But it has been revised. There are women who don't need too much of that money. We also realized that there are women who had already capacity and had taken up a lot of this money, but we ensured that this money is not meant for only Kampala banks, but it was now spread, and there is a quota for each sub-region or areas, and also money going through SACCOs. It is now that there are some SACCOs that do not follow the strict banking regulations of Corato and everything. So we are trying as much as possible, but besides the cash, there is a lot of skills development that is going on through the GROW project. There are centers of excellence where women come together and learn and also get capital, not in form of money, but in form of equipment and other items that they use. I thank you so much.